Anti-Israel mobs swarming a Jewish-owned falafel shop in Philadelphia, hurling those anti-Semitic chants as pro-Palestinian riots continue to erupt across our country.
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, the author of the bestsellers book, March to the Majority, is here to react. Newt, they keep saying this has nothing to do with the Jewish people, that they're standing up for a free Palestine. So why target a local Jewish deli?
Well, because the fact is, their idea of standing up for Palestine is to wipe out every Jew in Israel. Remember, when Hamas talks, they're very clear about this. They say not a single Jew will remain. So let's not kid each other. The people who are out there rallying for Hamas are rallying for terrorism and for genocide. And frankly, we should be much more aggressive in responding to it and much more aggressive in deporting any student who's here on a student visa, who's involved in this kind of pro-terrorist, pro-genocide position. And we should also be investigating our universities, who have become basically hothouses for growing people who I think are crazy. I mean, their position would involve wiping out all the people in Israel. And I don't think they understand it. I think their professors have totally misled them. And I think that it's time for decent people to stand up and say enough.
You're absolutely right. Newt, another topic, we were speaking of this earlier, climate czar John Kerry was over at the COP summit, and essentially what he said was, we've got to pull the plug on all coal plants, all coal mines, all coal mining in the United States. You know, he said we can rely on wind and solar and stuff like that, and he's right. We might be able to do that someday. We can't do it today, because right now, for affordable energy, you need coal. That's what America runs on.
Look, I think having billionaires or multimillionaires like John Kerry fly around the world. Remember, there's an entire climate change industry. There were 400,000 people at Doha, 400,000. They're all gathered together to earn a living off the taxpayers of the world, selling us stuff that doesn't work. The Europeans will tell you, relying on wind and relying on solar means, one, you'll go broke, and two, you're going to be very cold in the winter and very hot in the summer because the systems don't work enough to replace fossil fuels. What you have, and you're seeing this, by the way, with automobiles, where auto dealers have written Biden and said, we can't sell the cars. Government mandates don't work if the customers refuse to show up. So, I mean, Kerry is basically represents the insanely extreme wing of the environmental movement. I taught environmental studies. I think there are a lot of practical, common sense things you can do, none of which would appeal to John Kerry.
The House Speaker Mike Johnson was on Fox and Friends this weekend, and he says he believes that they do have the votes to make that impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden happen. Listen to this.
Or being stonewalled by the White House because they're preventing at least 2 to 3 DOJ witnesses from coming forward. A formal impeachment inquiry vote on the floor will allow us to take it to the next necessary step. And I think it's something we have to do at this juncture.
Do you have the votes to actually formally start an impeachment process?
Yeah, I believe we will.
Newt, what's your reaction?
Well, look, I think if you're a Democrat, you have to ask yourself, do you want to vote against learning what happened with Chinese money, Russian money, Kazakhstan money, Romanian money, Ukraine money? Do you really want to go home and say, yes, I defended Joe Biden's right to be a crook? If you're a Republican, do you really want to guarantee a primary opponent by voting against it, looking at it? This doesn't impeach him. This simply gives Congress additional power to force the White House to reveal documents and to force people to come and testify. And frankly, given the amount we've learned already about the money that came in from all these dictatorships and the degree to which the Biden family is essentially corrupt, I think the American people deserve to know whether or not their commander-in-chief is in fact in debt to the Chinese dictator, the Russian dictator, etc. It's really pretty shocking and probably the biggest presidential scandal in American history.
Yeah, you just got to wonder if the Republicans are going to ever be unified. They shouldn't have to depend on Democrats' votes for this measure. They should be able to vote for this alone, but I guess they'll have to explain that to their voters. Newt, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.